basketball player, now entering the realm of basketball analyst, sideline reporter as well. Chloe, the list goes on and on, girl. Welcome into In the Bonus.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you. We had the chance to chat a little bit before, but I would love for you to kind of just talk about the latest experience that you've been kind of diving into. You've had the opportunity to work as an analyst recently with the conference, also as a sideline reporter too. So dive in and tell us what it's been like being in front of the camera these days.
It has been a blast. Credit to a lot of you guys in this podcast. I feel like I've talked to many of you at some point about this career, and to look at all of you guys as women in this area has been awesome. And so I was excited to talk to the Big East as I was playing overseas, and just kind of gave my interest. And I want to do this color commentary. I want to get into sports broadcasting, and the Big East has been awesome and giving me some opportunities. And so I was able to call the Marquette versus Xavier game on TV, which was awesome. First experience actually live. And I had a blast. I mean, as you guys know, many of you guys play, and this is just, you talk about your experience, you talk about what you know, and as the game goes on. And if I'm not playing basketball, I sure want to be talking about basketball. And so I've had a great time. In addition, you mentioned some of the sideline stuff and interviews, and I mean, the girls at Marquette are still my best friends. So as much as I can't be as much as biased towards them, it's fun to get some interviews with your great friends after the game.
Chloe, I want to ask you about this because you touched on it. We've talked. I mean, like Marquette alums here, we hang out, we know each other, but 100%.
It took Lisa all of 1 minute to mention that.
Did you expect anything less, Ice? Absolutely not. But Chloe, I feel like it was years ago that you first pulled me aside and were like, hey, can I ask you some questions? Like, I think I was interviewing you, and afterwards you were like, wait, so now can I ask you questions about broadcasting and getting into it, which was so cool. Now that you've kind of made that transition and you've put on the headset, you've sat sideline and you've called games, how has it been for you transitioning from player to commentator for this chunk of time that you've been able to do it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely weird because you go from a basketball player to now what's your identity, And I think many of us have gone through this, whether it's been soccer, basketball, whatever sport it is. And you kind of look around like, what is my next thing going to be? And so as I sit there and I watch the team that I played with, and I'm now on the sidelines reporting on it, I'm like, wow, it's kind of weird, But I think luckily just being around basketball for so long, and I was a journalism undergrad, I feel like it's pretty normal to me, honestly. I think that Megan mentioned my podcast, and we talk about sports, and this is my family's thing. We just sit and we talk about sports. And so for me, I kind of just feel like a little bit natural almost. However, the headset kind of gets in the hair. You gotta be a little bit more appropriate when you're talking about some things. You can't be as biased. I was talking to some of the Big East people, and they're like, you got to be careful not saying us and we, and when you're talking about Marquette. And I'm like, that is something I'll have to get used to. So yes, there's still some things that obviously I have to learn and to get to your guys' level at some point. And so, but I've been having a blast with it. It's been awesome.
You are a natural for sure. And the headset, yeah, it takes getting used to. The key tip, I think, with female hair is to have it taped at the top. Never let it be splitting open, because then your hair gets pushed up into a little poof. So if it's not taped, ask them for black tape to tape it. And then, yeah, you got to figure out, is your hair back? Is it down? Okay, but Chloe, so you spent, it was 5 years at Marquette, right? You did the 5th year. Mm-hmm. So we associate you, we still can't believe you're not a student athlete anymore. So I have kind of a 2-part question. What is the best part about being removed from college now, and what do you miss the most, whether it has to do with sports or just being a regular college student?
Oh man. So I would say the best part about being removed right now is that I've had plenty of time with my family and friends, which, it's so worth it in the moment to sacrifice those things because it's what you care about. It's your passion. It's, basketball is it. And now I feel like, man, I have had a chance to, do things that I hadn't done in such a long time. Go out to dinner, spend Thanksgiving with my family, spend Christmas with my family, things like that. And that has been very special to me. And so I knew this moment was coming. I knew I was going to sacrifice for a certain part of my life, and then this is going to be it. And don't regret anything in that way. But man, I miss it too. I have been back to some Marquette practices and just kind of been around the group. And it's so much fun when you're around people 24/7. You get to learn about them. And the girls laugh at me sometimes. I still have a code to the locker room, grab some snacks here and there. And they're all like, you need to get out of the locker room. Like, you've been here for too long. And I'm like, I understand. So yeah, so there's definitely some things I miss with that. But I'm lucky to live close to them and see them all the time. So.
Big East Women's Basketball is brought to you by Invesco QQQ, official ETF of the Big East Conference. And inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, 1 of 5 tonight across the Big East Digital Network on Flow Sports. It's the Blue Demons of DePaul traveling south on 65. They meet the Bulldogs of Butler, both teams hoping to go into the second half of the season on a much-needed winning note. Hi, everybody. Alongside Amber Stocks, I'm Will Haskett, and AB in an important matchup for these two teams tonight. They have one thing in common this season. They've won 3 games in the Big East Conference. They've all come against 11th place Xavier. So one of these teams tonight is going to get their best Big East win so far of this season. It is an important game for one of these teams to make that next jump into the second half of the schedule.
Well, with DePaul's 2 wins against Xavier, they sit just above Butler in the Big East rankings. It's pressure defense for DePaul that ignites the Blue Demon offense as DePaul ranks top 40 in the country and number 1 in the Big East in steals at 10.6 per game. And for Butler, it's the 3-point shooting, 54% in their win against Xavier.
And a big part of that has been all everything for Butler this season. You're taking a look there at Caroline Strandy and what she can do for this team. But it's not just what she does with these stats here. It's maybe the other things that are going to be the key for her growth as the leader of this team.
Well, Big East weekly honor roll for the second straight week is Caroline Strandy. And she ranks first in the league in 3-point field goal percentage at 52% and 6th in rebounding and 12th in scoring at 15.
Opposed on the other side, Jory Allen may not be the leading scorer for this team, but she might be the most important player for Doug Bruno's Blue Demons. A very important piece, and it's a homecoming for her back in her home state of Indiana.
In her second season with DePaul, this Indiana Miss Basketball is capable of the big points.
And there's a look at the legend himself, Doug Bruno, in his 38th season at DePaul, and most notably was named to the Naismith Hall of Fame ballot coming up. We'll see if he becomes another Hall of Famer. Already in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Could he be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame as well? Trying to turn this program around again. They had an incredible success. A lot of new faces on this roster this year as Coach Bruno tries to find some success here in the latter half of this 2023-24 season. And he's opposed on the other side for the Bulldogs, Austin Parkinson, in just his second season for Butler this year. See, 20-30 at Butler. He took a 3-win IUPUI team all the way to the top of the Horizon League. He's taken a 1-win Butler team to double-digit wins last season, and if they win today again this season, it's certainly a rebuild. He's really excited about the youth on this team, the potential on this team, and maybe we'll see a glimpse of that future potential today and heading into the second half of the season.
Well, we've talked about what Butler does so well, and that is that 3-point shooting. And what Butler also has is scope, scalability. What Coach Parkinson is building will continue to thrive on this solid foundation that he's bringing.
First meeting between these two teams this season will be the 26th meeting all-time between these two programs. DePaul has an overwhelming 24-1 record all-time against Butler. They have never lost inside this building. As we get set to tip it off tonight, Katie Lukanich, Tony Patillo, and Ashley Good our officiating crew, and we are underway in Hinkle.
One thing that's going to be very important for Butler to come out with a victory today, we talked about that three-point shooting. Butler ranked second in the Big East in made threes, but right off the bat, smart decision by Coach Park, go right inside to the dominant freshman Carter.
Carter with the first bucket, and interesting to see how DePaul will defensively go against Butler in this one, because they were undecided heading into the game how they would play. Cedar out top, you see the starters there for DePaul. Their leading scorer is Anaya Peoples. It's in the hands of Jory Allen, and she cannot answer with the own bucket, as Butler will look to push the pace with Wiggins at the point.
For DePaul, it's going to be key to keep the pressure defense on. DePaul averages about 10 steals per game, pressuring Butler into those long jumpers.
Good read by Makaleski. Couldn't come up with the steal. She's part of that starting lineup for the Bulldogs. They swing it around the perimeter, and Caitlin Gilbert missed everything. That is going to be a key for DePaul. They have not shot the ball well at all in the Big East Conference. Wiggins drives into traffic. Ill-advised shot, and DePaul pushes.
This is what DePaul can do well. Push in transition, quick steal to press to open three.
Maeve Mackerlane with her first triple, and that's a big one for DePaul. They entered shooting just 27.5% from three-point range in the Big East this year. They have not been able to drop it in the bucket so far in the Big East play. And there's another quick hand, another turnover. Off the knee, Makaleski to the floor, and it's tied up. Possession arrow will go to DePaul.
Well, DePaul ends up retaining this possession off of the steal. And this is what you're going to see, a lot of this ball pressure. But what it also does is it slows down the already set pace offense that Butler brings to the table.
Austin Parkinson said one of the keys to today was to limit turnovers, already 2 in the first 4 possessions for the Dogs, 2 minutes into this first quarter. Gilbert drives, good dish off. Allen in a perfect spot, and it's 5 straight from the Blue Demons.
Well, we're also seeing another DePaul strength, and that's moving the basketball. The nice assist from Gilbert.
Ball hits the baseline. Makaleski didn't know if it had been touched by a Blue Demon defender or not. Fortunately, it was before it got to the inline. And here was the question. We didn't know if Doug Bruno was going to show the press tonight or not. He thought he might even sag back. Here's our early answer here, AB. They're going to go to the press. It gets the 3rd turnover as Peoples takes it right away from Kent. It leads to Cedar, and that's 2 straight made from distance for DePaul. And a perfect start if you're a DePaul fan in this one. A quick 8-0 spurt to take a 6-point lead.
I think all game we're going to see Coach Bruno keep this type of pressure on.
Wiggins, good behind the back dribble, and able to create. 5 points a game for the junior, transferred in from Michigan. We've got a couple of Michigan transfers on both rosters, so familiar faces on both sides, not just from prep basketball here in Indiana, but from collegiately, pulling from the same spots through the transfer portal. Cedar can't stay hot. Ball batted around. Strandy and Allen won't tie it up. Possession stays here. Peoples looking for her first bucket and gets it.
Peoples for DePaul, the hot scorer. She averages almost 18 per game.
Press picked up by DePaul, and a quick foul whistled. Heidi Hupengardner comes off of the Butler bench, imploring Strandy to come back. She needs to be on help on the inbound. Now in transition, she works right into the body of Allen, who held her ground.
That was great defense by Allen. She was over-rotated right on time and then managed to keep her verticality on that contact.
She didn't fall to the ground, but Doug Bruno is pleading it should have been an offensive foul. She was in position and took a lot of contact, and no whistle. Rachel Kent. And the first 3 for Butler.
Rachel Kent, she is that three-point spark for Butler, leads the team in three-point attempts.
And a team that shoots at 42% from three-point range in Big East play. It's a massive advantage for Butler from behind the arc in this one as Allen dragged the pivot foot and turned it over.
And that was a nice job by Allen to try to size up the taller Carter defensively, but drug the foot.
And Ari Wiggins will handle most of the ball handling duties for this Butler offense, but she has labored the last 5 times out controlling the turnovers. A sub-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. There was nearly a giveaway by Makaleski. Defense breaks down, though, and Carter takes advantage to put Butler back within 1.
You hear footwork mentioned so much with both players and how the development is important, and I love Carter's footwork around the basket.
Butler getting its sea legs now after the frenetic early pace and defense. Allen searches, finds nothing. Strandy read the pass, and no one will be there to stop her. Oh, quick hands. I stand corrected. Gilbert gets back quickly and not only gets the hand in there, but gets all ball. It'll stay here.
Well, great hands by Gilbert. The deflection disrupting the play won't go down in the stats as a turnover for Butler, won't go down as a steal or possession change for DePaul, but those deflections are major impact.
Strandy trying to use the quickness against Allen. Nice move and a step back, and that was next level pretty right there.
Caroline Strandy is so smooth with her release.
Second lead of the night for Butler. Active hands on both sides defensively. Peoples did not have her feet underneath her, but the rebound kicked out to Gilbert. Reset to Cedar, who misses for the second time behind the arc.
Well, rebounding key every possession, and Butler just giving up too many offensive boards.
DePaul made their first 2 from distance, and they've missed 4 straight from behind the arc. Peoples. Well, there's a wall of white around her. Kent had to wrestle back in to get that one, and then no one to help her. As the defense not boxing out. This is the third reset of this possession.
Well, this is why Coach Bruno says Big East teams just don't like to face DePaul, because DePaul is tough. They attack the boards, and they just play with such grit.
Wiggins active hands. Found Kent for the outlet. Strandy up ahead again, and this time will beat the defense to lay it in.
Butler's got to keep this tempo and keep this pace. The half-court defense of DePaul is sharp. Butler needs to score in transition.
Subs waiting to come in. We've had nearly 6 minutes of uninterrupted action. Just a couple of loose balls on the side. A lot of exhausted bodies on the floor. Gilbert rims it out on the turnaround. And Wiggins with enough energy to try and push some tempo the other way. Great clear out by Carter, who wanted the ball in the post. Instead, Wiggins resets to Strandy. Timeout coming at the next whistle. Butler with the momentum right now in the midst of a 9-0 run. Good probe. Wiggins left wide open, and the run continues. A dozen straight for Butler.
Caroline Wiggins only shooting just under 20% from the 3, but she is clutch and apropos with her timing.
Great backdoor look. Peoples too easy, and a great find as Mackerlane set her up.
2 things you'll hear over and over throughout the course of this game. DePaul's ability to move the basketball, again, complements their ability to pressure the basketball and force steals.
Strandy again, tough fadeaway, and again is able to connect. Back from the elbow. Both times she's released that shot and that fall away, Austin Parkinson has said no, and then exasperatedly looks on when it goes in and says, okay, I guess we'll take the offense.
And, you know, you look at the juncture of this game, there's been a lot of, you said, the pace been up and down with not a lot of blown whistles. And to make these tough shots at this level of fatigue is impressive.
Allen ran down the rebound and had it swatted away by Carter. We keep playing in what has been 4 continuous minutes of action on the court. Wiggins pulls up. And that was not the shot Butler was looking for. Here comes Peoples. Gilbert swings it. 5 straight missed threes from DePaul. Full line changes waiting at the scorer's table to come in for either team as Wiggins tries to collect some breath in a frenetic paced opening quarter. Strandy got free, poked away cleanly by Gilbert, who's picked her pocket a couple of times.
DePaul's active hands may have been so active the official may not have seen that. Looked like a lot of contact.
Kent driving the other way. Olay defense, but she couldn't finish with the layup.
Timeout management always being one of those quagmires that coaches have to process.
I need a timeout right now, AB. I mean, this is back and forth. I feel exhausted for the players on the court right now. It's getting a little sloppy. Cedar drives all the way through and continues this action.
Nice drive by Cedar and the tough finish and kissing it high off the glass. Nice skill.
The break these players need might not come until the end of the actual quarter as we're under a minute. Kent left open in the corner. Her legs are still there, and another three. 6 points now in the quarter for Rachel Kent. She and Strandy with 6 apiece to pace all scorers.
That's a good drive by Wiggins to draw the defense.
Mackerlane, quick release. Maybe too quick there. Ball isn't going to get out of play. It's saved in by Allen, and they'll hold for the final shot.
Well, DePaul's relentless attack, 6 offensive rebounds in this quarter.
We're going to set a record for the quickest total time it's taken to play a quarter of basketball this year in the Big East. 3 to shoot. Cedar to Gilbert, has to heave. That's way off the mark. And everybody will jog slowly to the huddle in one of the fastest 10 minutes you will see all season. DePaul used an 8-0 run to take the lead midway through this first quarter, but Butler finishes 5 of their last 7, including a 12-0 spurt in the first quarter to lead it by a touchdown after 10 minutes of play. But how entertaining it was. Rachel Kent a couple from distance in that first quarter. Butler found its outside touch, and they lead by 7. The Big East Mobile Tour continues with a stop at Villanova this weekend. Follow at Big East on social media to see when the Big East road trip will stop at your favorite Big East school this season. You got your breath left? Holy cow.
That was quite a pace.
Fastest first quarter we've ever seen. Butler leads by 7. Your quick takeaways from the back and forth we just saw.
Rachel Kent, 3-point shooting, and Ari Wiggins' ability to find the defense, draw them in, and kick it out. DePaul keep up the outstanding ball pressure, and most of all, the amazing rebounding.
Host of substitutions for both teams that were set to check in with 4 minutes to go. including now freshman Carson Norman, who will run the point for Butler. Makalewski and Kent, the only two starters still left on the floor for Butler. Allen and Gilbert still on the floor for DePaul, along with Cedar. Turnaround missed by Sidney James. And DePaul looking to find the touch again after they finished that first quarter on a bit of a shooting slump, especially from three-point range, where they made their first two and then went 0 for 8 from three-point range the rest of that first quarter.
Butler needing to find some interior game to match DePaul's. DePaul now with 10 points in the paint.
Kate Clark with that bucket. And a bit of a size advantage right now for DePaul against this Butler lineup on the floor. They can find the mismatch. They exploited it there with the experience of Kate Clark.
So with the way that Butler is attacking the DePaul defense, they're going to have these mismatch opportunities. Getting it, nice defense by Jory Allen. DePaul pressuring, denying the inside game. Butler trying to find Allen inside.
Cedar, rough shot, but she's able to hit it from 18, stepped in the line. And that's back-to-back buckets to begin the quarter. Strandy set the check back in for Butler, and this has really been, Butler loves to get off to good starts. They've, especially of late, gotten off to great starts, but their real lack of depth has cost them in being able to hold on to those leads. Great drive to the bucket and a nice finish from Kendall Wingler.
I like Kendall Wingler. She can have the ability to do that multi-dimensional attacking.
DePaul 6 of 20 shooting in that first quarter, but now 3 of 3 to begin this second quarter as Jade Edwards finds her way right to the tin. And so DePaul finding a lot of gaps in this Butler defense to begin the second quarter.
Well, DePaul clearly coming out of the timeout, having made the adjustments to close this gap and not let Butler get too far away.
And on the other side, not allowing gaps to Butler. That was a wild throw up from Wingler and run down in the corner by Edwards, who just scored on the other end.
DePaul's offense has so much movement in it that Butler's got to make sure that they continue to talk. But when there's ability to not switch and to stay home on assignment, Butler has to be heads up for those.
Boy, Allen, a beautiful scoop. Just used her strength, bullied her way through Sidney James to the basket in a sweet little left hand.
This inside matchup right now with Allen and Jane going back and forth, and both being right now the primary inside force for both of their teams, solely holding the paint alone.
Well, Kent had a layup if she wanted it, gave it up instead, and Norman can't hit the three. Good minutes from Clark to start this second quarter, with Peoples and a host of friends ready to check back in, and a good spinning move by Caitlin Gilbert, and DePaul has come all the way back quickly here 4 minutes into the second quarter to lead.
A tough shot by Gilbert, and she's been working hard all game to try to earn one. And then likewise defensively, Gilbert, one of these DePaul defenders that is going to continue to keep this steady ball pressure on.
Homecoming for Gilbert, who will get a blow. Played at Hamilton Southeastern, northeast of where we are here at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Was a McDonald's All-American, and on her third stop in college will take a seat on Doug Bruno's bench. Strandy back in for Butler as Norman, I'm not sure if she reestablished, she was in the air. And Butler looking for something here as they've gone over 3 minutes without scoring, and DePaul has taken the lead in this one. Strandy can't get the scoring restarted off the bench.
I like the DePaul strategy of not over-committing on Strandy as she drives. Strandy has the capability of putting up big numbers. However, can she singularly outscore DePaul? Probably not. So DePaul is really committed to staying at home.
Arrested Peoples gives it up to arrested McElwain, who can't connect. But then Peoples read that pass, poked away, last touched by Kent. And another turnover. That'll be just the 5th on Butler. Remember, they had a couple of early turnovers that got them behind early in that first quarter. And injured and walking off, Charlize O'Hare in some serious pain at their left, either shoulder or elbow. Some contact away from the play. And she's being tended to as DePaul has to go deeper to the bench. Summer Lee comes in to spell the injured O'Hare.
Well, DePaul, a team that already doesn't go too deep into the bench, is going to miss these valuable minutes if O'Hare has to sit out long.
Deep 3 missed from Clark. As those shooting woes from 3-point range continue for DePaul, but the second quarter has all been about their ability to get to the basket against the Butler defense. Wiggins back in to run the show for Butler, and Janes was fouled down low.
So now with O'Hare out of the game, DePaul is going small ball, so to speak. And so the assignment of guarding Jane inside has gone to Summer Lee. Summer Lee only standing at about 5'8" as a freshman, guarding the 6'3" Sydney Jane from Butler.
When you can see Strandy wanted her posted up, and she just couldn't get in position to get it. They whip it around, and Wingler rims out. And there's Janes with that size, able to control the offensive rebound. Thought about the 3. Strandy instead will take it.
It's a good possession by Butler to continue to move the basketball without being overly concerned about getting Janes inside on the ISO.
Butler lost offensively and a little bit defensively. Clark couldn't take advantage of a wide open layup, but Lee resets.
DePaul taking his time, moving the ball around. Now with less than 10 seconds on the shot clock, who else but Peebles coming up with the clutch?
Just the 6th point for Anea Peoples, who last year was the 4th leading scorer on this team, but because of a number of key departures in the transfer portal has had to very quickly become the go-to scoring option for the Blue Demons. But she's had great balance around her so far tonight here at Butler. Shot clock at 7. Strandy fouled by Edwards, and that will take us to a timeout with a couple of free throws coming for Butler, which has really lost its offensive rhythm here in the second quarter. The scoring drought has extended beyond 4 minutes for the Bulldogs, who led by 7 to begin the quarter, find themselves down 3 and looking for some answers here midway through the second.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh, warm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country. It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey. becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team. From signing day
We'll put this right here
to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team impact. All in, all together.
DePaul in the midst of an 8-0 run. They lead by 3 second quarter here at Butler with Amber Stocks. I'm Will Haskett. Busy night in the Big East. 5 women's basketball games all taking place tonight, including a couple of big ones, AB, at the top of the standings. Right now at the half in Philadelphia, UConn holding a slim 1-point lead, 37-36 against Villanova. And Creighton at home against Marquette leads by 1, 30-29. Massive implications at the top of the Big East standings for a number of teams looking for some net ranking positioning. That'd be massive if Villanova could win at home against UConn and get their first top 25 net win of the season. Caroline Strandy ends the scoring run for DePaul and gets Butler back within 1. As one of these two teams looking for some positioning up in the standings at the end of tonight. DePaul entered tonight 9th, Butler 10th. A Butler win tonight would tie these two teams in the 9th position.
This is why this game is so crucial for both teams. And you'll see a lot of runs. Basketball is a game of runs, but particularly on the nice pick and roll down inside, Peoples to Allen on the roll. But in these types of neck-and-neck conference games, you're going to see these large runs and swings by both teams. It'll be a matter of who can ride the waves all the way through the fourth quarter.
Been an impressive answer in the second quarter for DePaul after that feverish first quarter came to an end. Like everybody's gotten their pulse back into a manageable spot. Wingler lost it and then was tied up by Allen, and it's going to go back over to DePaul, and that will be the 6th Butler turnover.
This is what's tough for Butler when it comes to ball handling. When Wiggins and Kent are not in the game, there is a big of a drop-off. So you look at the depth. Into a game like today, that really could edge in DePaul's favor.
And you immediately see Rachel Kent back on the floor. Austin Parkinson has to go back to his most trusted Bulldog who came over with him from IUPUI. And an offensive foul whistled as Gilbert was trying to find position down low, and she's whistled for the offensive foul. Foul's not an issue. This game has been moving right along. That is the 5th personal foul called against DePaul in the game. There has not been a single foul whistled against Butler so far tonight, and we've almost played an entire half.
And only 2 free throws shot the entire game, and right on cue.
On cue.
Primed and prepped for a foul call.
It's the reverse broadcaster's curse right there, AB. You throw something out there that hasn't happened, and it happens.
The blessing and the curse.
There you go. Strandy picks up her first and Butler's first. An important 2-minute stretch here for the home team, which has not found success in its home court, and it starts with a driving layup, and Kate Clark almost unmolested all the way to the rim there. It's a 5-point DePaul lead.
Butler going right back to Caroline Strandy.
Butler ice cold, but they get the turnover there off of the frantic pass from Clark. Norman in transition. Kent thought about the 3. She draws the defense. It's Makaleski instead.
This is quite a tempo here. And Makaleski attempting to take the charge in transition, but she was definitely inside of the charge circle.
After no fouls in the first 17 minutes of this game, a couple on Butler. Probably moving here too. Yeah, she slid into the body as well. And that will send Michelle Cedor to the line for DePaul. Again, what a difference in these 2 quarters. DePaul shooting 8 of 11 from the field in the second quarter. Butler is just 1 of 9. And outscored 16-4 in this second frame, as Doug Bruno has pushed all the right buttons so far in this second frame. But Cedor goes 0 in her trip to the line, and she's an 80% free throw shooter.
80% high, but low on volume. She just doesn't get very many trips to the line.
Where does Butler go for offense?
You know, I think Butler goes right back to setting screens and getting drive and draws. However, because DePaul's not drawing, Butler can take those layups that were open.
Austin Parkinson disagrees with the call. I think that charge, whether or not the defender is in position or not, has a lot more to do with the fact that it was just a frenetic play. It just did not look good from Butler at all. A discombobulated mess out there, including the grab and spin from Makaleski, who just picked up 2 in back-to-back trips down the floor.
Well, Makaleski just looks a little bit out of rhythm and flow, perhaps even out of position on the court. She might be better off staying within that high post zone.
Mackerlane hits the first DePaul 3 since the very beginning of the first quarter. They started 2 of 2, went 0 of 10 from deep, and now have made another, and it's their largest lead of the night.
Mackerlane, one of the 3 top three-point shooters for DePaul.
If it was going to be anybody to get Butler out of the funk, it was likely to be Caroline Strandy. She delivers there. And Butler, with just tenths of a second separating game clock and shot clock, could try and get a stop here and maybe a bucket to build momentum into the halftime locker room.
Yes, DePaul definitely has all the momentum in their favor. Butler needing to find a way to not let them get too far ahead.
People's probing. Kent not giving up any ground, but Allen left open and cannot beat both buzzers with a 3. But it is a second quarter to remember for the Blue Demons as they outscore Butler 19-6 in the frame and take a 6-point lead into the half. Quickly, what did you like from DePaul there in that second 10 minutes?
Well, DePaul really stayed relentless with attacking the basket and not settling for jumpers, even though they were hot in the first quarter. DePaul's managing its minutes with the pressure, but still finding ways to keep Butler at bay.
Bulldogs certainly with some work to do to make some halftime adjustments. They led by 7 entering the second quarter. They depart down 6 at the end of the second quarter. Balanced scoring all around. In fact, DePaul, of the 9 players that played, 7 have scored in the opening half. Strandy's 10 leading the way for Butler in this one, but the Bulldogs with some regrouping to do at the halftime break as they trail 33-27. More to come here from Hinkle Fieldhouse, part of a busy night of Big East women's basketball with DePaul up by 6 in the break here in Indianapolis.
Butler has always stood for excellence in education. But standing for something doesn't mean standing still. It means moving forward with innovative ideas that are transforming how we teach. It means experiential learning in fields that create in-demand graduates. It means cultivating not only minds, but communities. At Butler, we're changing what it means to be a university, one student at a time.
Welcome to the Butler Halftime Show on Flow Sports Big East Digital Network.
This past weekend, Hinkle Fieldhouse looked a little different than it does today. In collaboration with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, fans checkered Hinkle for men's basketball double overtime win against Villanova. Each section wore white or blue shirts to create checkered patterns synonymous with Indianapolis racing history. Bulldog Nation helped power the team to victory as their energy fueled the team. Head coach Thad Mata echoed this statement, saying that the atmosphere was electric. Here's Heston Heibarger, the director of the athletic marketing, on the result of Butler's collaboration with IMS.
Checker Hinkle this past weekend was a great success. It was our inaugural event. We will definitely be doing it again in collaboration with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The fans did a great job of checkering Hinkle. It was blue and white and helped that the dogs played really well. It was great atmosphere. Mr. Kinetic was on fire. The band was doing great. But the students, that's the main thing. The students brought it. Our fans brought it. And made for a good Saturday afternoon at Hinkle. Double overtime, so need a little extra time, but got it done. And
one aspect of Butler University sports that is overlooked week after week is the Butler University cheer team. The Butler University cheer team is not the focal point of many various sporting events. However, they bring hype and fandom to every event you attend. One aspect not talked about enough is how late they must practice during the week, not getting out of practice until after 9:30 p.m. Even after a long day of class and other extracurricular activities, they put their best foot forward to practice. Coach Brenda Jamerson loves to keep her cheerleaders energetic and alive.
Try to come in with a game plan every practice, and we tell them what we're going to do at the beginning of the practice, and we try to just keep pushing through to this step, we're going to do this routine. And I think by changing it up and not becoming stagnant, they get excited about each new thing we're doing throughout the practice, 3-hour practice.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Though they are not able to practice while the sun is out, they still find a way to shine with their great shows and positive outlook. The team recently won 3rd at Nationals.
Let's take a look at the men's cross-country season from last fall. Coach Matt Rowe made history winning not only the Big East Conference Championship, but also the NCAA Great Lakes Regional Championship. Qualifying for the NCAA National Championships, the Dogs took 21st in the nation, defeating several Power 5 schools. Let's watch a quick interview with team member Matthew Forrester to learn how he feels about the overall successes.
I think it was a pretty good season. The races were rough, the races were muddy, but the team's very good at putting together and lifting each other up when times are kind of terse. So I felt like it was a privilege to be on such a team where we can push each other even though the stakes are pretty high. There's a big rivalry going on between all the boys. I like the tension between us because we're all trying to outdo each other every turn. I like that aspect of it, so we can all really push each other, and hopefully together we can push each other to achieve.
Heading into the indoor track season, the Dogs have high hopes and similar successes as to last fall. The Butler University track and field team hosted the BU Invitational earlier this year at the Indiana State Fairground. Teams such as Purdue, IUPUI, Valparaiso, UIndy, and 6 other schools were all the teams that made the trip over to come compete at the meet. The Butler-led event was the unveiling of the brand new track and field facility at the Fall Creek Pavilion. Sponsored by the Indiana Farm Bureau, the indoor facility contains a track with 6 lanes that reach 6 feet above the ground on the turns, while the straightaways are 18 inches off the ground. The facility also has 2 long jump runways, 2 high jump arenas, and a pole vault runway. Abby Fosfet, a runner of the 800 meters, shared what it was like for her to run on the track.
Amazing opportunity to race on a brand new track, and when we were out there before we stepped on, we were just agreeing to run fast for each other. She makes a move, I make a move, I make a move, she makes a move. And there's no one else I'd rather be out here doing it with.
Hinkle Fieldhouse has a snack bar filled with nutritious snacks and drinks for athletes on the go. The nutrition station is a gem in Hinkle Fieldhouse that is available to all athletes during certain hours of the day. They have so many snacks and beverages to supply athletes on their way to and from practices. The nutrition station is very accommodating for athletes with allergies as well. All athletes at Butler take advantage of the nutrition station. It is open in the morning from 7 to 9 and in the afternoon again from 2 to 4:30. Athletes hear their practice from being fueled by the nutrition station.
This season, the Bulldogs are looking to build momentum off their 12-9 record in the Big East play this upcoming spring. In the Big East coaches poll, the Bulldogs are projected to finish in the middle of the pack in 5th. The team getting ready to welcome 4 new freshmen into the mix, including 2 new pieces to the pitching rotation. Butler women's softball opens their 2024 season in the Unidome Classic on February 9th with matchups between 5 and out-of-conference opponents. This season, the Butler baseball team is looking to continuing building their program under second-year head coach Blake Beamer. Luckily for the Dogs' Big East Freshman of the Year, Butler baseball starts their 2024 campaign in a 3-game battle with Florida State Seminoles on February 16th.
Get ready for the excitement of the playoffs because the Butler hockey team is making their way to Columbus, Indiana. This year, they will be participating in a 6-team playoff. These players on the hockey team are ecstatic to go to the playoff this year and are starting to get ready for the long road ahead. Eric Gentry is making practices involving as possible in order to make the team ready for playoff hockey.
Well, it's nice that our whole schedule this semester is against conference foes, so that's kind of a nice little warm up to the playoffs. So it's nice to see the teams that we're going to be potentially playing in the playoffs, and then I think just focusing on what we need to do in practice and making sure we get that stuff done.
Butler students can work out at a campus gym. The campus gyms are busier than ever with the new year. Treadmills and ellipticals are being put to use more than ever. Butler students have the opportunity to exercise at Irvington House, Fairview House, and the HRC. Weight training can be hard to come by at times for students, and there are only a few racks and bench presses. The intramural basketball is starting up as well, so the HRC basketball gym will have more company. There is no better way for a student to better themselves than at a campus gym.
And I do enjoy working out at the school gyms. The only complaint I'd have about it is there's only a few squat racks, and a lot of times it gets really busy there at the HRC, especially in certain times of the day. So it's good quality weights. I like pretty much everything about it.
Exercise is always important, and especially as a college student.
After a whole semester of waiting, the dining hall at the residential college is back in business. Located across the street from Greek Row, Resco opened its doors on Martin Luther King Day. Residential college has undergone renovations over the last 2 years, which caused the dining hall to close down for one semester. Upon its return, it was the hot place on campus. Last year, Resco was one of the favorite spots at Butler. The food is even better than in years prior. Athington has seemingly taken a big dip in customers. However, Resco currently seems hotter than ever.
So I lived in Resco my freshman year when it was going through the renovations. It was at the older dining hall style, so to see it as updated as it is really exciting. I love the food options. The Resco bowls are back, so that's super exciting as well. Just gives me more of a location to go to besides Atherton Union. I love Atherton's food, but Resco's more of that like homey feel, and I'm super excited to see what else they do with it throughout the year.
The question remains just how long they will continue to be on top of the campus.
There is a major controversy in the world of water bottles with two competing brands that are trending right now. Stanley has been a very popular water bottle for all different ages throughout the last year. However, as of recently, there's a new competitor. The Owala brand has started giving Stanley a run for their money, as some people who begin as Stanley fans switch to being Owala users. Now we'll hear from some of the real-life testimonies of some avid Stanley and Owala users.
Hi, my name is Kitty Kopak, and I'm a sophomore at Butler, and here's a few reasons why I like Owala better than Stanley. So this Owala I've had for over a year, and it's very durable. It comes in a lot of fun colors, and the top is closed and it opens with a lock, and you can drink out of the straw or you can pour it out of a little hole, and then you can lock it closed. And I also have this one, which is it fits perfectly in my backpack, and you can drink out of it through a straw, and I like the colors of this one too, so that's why I prefer Owala.
Hi, I'm Summer Adkins. I am a junior at Butler University, and I am Team Stanley. You could say I'm a Stanley stan. I think that these are the go-to cup. I would pick this cup over any other cup any day of the week because it's so durable. They have so many cute colors. You can get a bunch of different colors. They also have a bunch of different sizes, and this is hefty. I don't have to fill this up too many times in a day because it's 40 ounces, like she's gonna last me. Also, this thing on the top, it can go like to the side and you can sip it or drink through a straw, which I think is really, really helpful. There's also a lot of different ways to carry it. I like to carry it like this, but you can also carry it like this with a handle. It's just really nice. It's very comfortable to grip. They have a lot of different sizes, a baby size, another example of cute different colors that they have. Overall, I just think that these are the best way to go. They also, all of these attachments come off to make it easy to clean, so it's just a win-win for me.
Both water bottles are known for their engaging color combinations and straws for sipping. It's up to you to decide which one deserves the crown.
Thank you for watching the Butler Halftime Show. Now enjoy the game.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country. It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
1, 2, 3,
From signing day,
we'll put this right here,
to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
hot dogs, fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the Butler College of Communication, we live to create.
As one of Butler's fastest growing colleges, we create the conditions for students to realize their full potential as communicators. Learning expands beyond the classroom, with endless opportunities for students to gain valuable experience in the greater Indianapolis area and across the country. So go on, get behind the camera, step into the speech clinic, or join the newsroom. At Butler's College of Communication, it's not can we do it, it's when do we start.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
to know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
Big East Women's Basketball is brought to you by Invesco QQQ, official ETF of the Big East Conference. Back inside Hinkle Fieldhouse on this busy Wednesday night of Big East Women's Basketball. Let's look at our first half in review as DePaul leads it by 6, 33-27 at the half. Quarter for Butler, AB, and then DePaul managed to go to work in that second quarter, that 19-6 turnaround. We see the steals early, 6 steals in the opening half for DePaul, but they got behind a little bit early in this one. What was the key to the turnaround for DePaul in that first 20 minutes?
Well, in the first quarter, Butler's three-point shooting, Ari Riggins with 1 and Rachel Kent with 2 threes. That got Butler off to a hot start. But in the second quarter, DePaul really kicked it up, driving and attacking the basket. 8 for 8 on twos with 20 points in the paint for DePaul. Contrast that with Butler, only 10 points in the paint and 0 for 5 from the three-point line in the second quarter.
It could be worse. You see the 9 offensive rebounds for DePaul. It's only led to 4 second chance points for the Blue Demons in that first half. And you saw the three-point shooting again. Butler in Big East play is shooting 42% from three-point range. They shoot it just 3 of 8 in the opening half. Not a lot of looks from behind the arc. And DePaul matching Butler in threes made is certainly a big part of the story, as they have struggled in Big East play to shoot it from long range.
Well, DePaul's defensive strategy is really on point. They're preventing threes by Butler as Rachel Kent gets a look, but that one was contested.
Carter couldn't get the reset. Strandy with another opportunity, but she threw it away. Peoples got it. She got hit to the floor by Rachel Kent, and what's the call? Could have been a couple of foul calls on Rachel Kent. Instead, the ball was knocked out of Peoples' hands by Kent, out of bounds, and DePaul gets it. I thought that Peoples was over the end line as well in possession. A justifiable argument from Austin Parkins, but I also think you could turn to him and say, look, Rachel Kent probably deserved a foul there.
This, as you mentioned, Will, has been a game with really low fouls being called. The toughness of DePaul may prevail if the officials are going to let the players just play and grind it out like this.
Just 8 fouls whistled in that entire first half. 2 on Caitlin Gilbert for DePaul, 2 on Riley Makalewski for Butler. The only 2 you have to worry about. 2 to shoot. Allen recognized and missed. Oh, Rachel Kent was flat-footed, almost gave away that rebound. Here comes Wiggins.
That was a good thought by Carter to come out for the quick ball screen for Wiggins.
Nice floater from Makalewski on the baseline. They need to get her going after the foul trouble. That's her first points of the ball game, and she's someone that Austin Parkinson has really highlighted, coming off of a 19-point explosion against Xavier. The freshman, I should say, from just up the road in Fishers, Indiana, is a pivotal part of this team now and in the future for Butler, and she's finally in the scoring ledger here today.
Makalewski has a really unique skill set in that she can play a variety of spots on the court. And like you said, as a freshman, she'll continue to refine her game and find her sweet spot.
Allen stripped it away on the other end. Gilbert with a miss. Strandy out with it.
So this is where Butler can get into some quick secondary action and try to find DePaul on their heels.
Kent, no outlet, it's Makaleski now. Good head fake, good height. Second time not the charm. Carter uses her height, wildly flips it up, and her coach imploring her to pass that ball out and reset the offense.
What I like about that DePaul defensive possession was they were so disciplined on that rebound. Coach Bruno mentioned this is a team that is young playing together, but they have the basic tools, as People shows one of them right there, the solid foundations and discipline.
I mean, you could just make a foundational video right there from Peoples. 2 head fakes get her to the basket, and Austin Parkinson on both sides, offensively and defensively, calls a quick timeout as DePaul reestablishes its 6-point lead here in the third. Very quick timeout here early in the third quarter as Austin Parkinson very unhappy with the execution on both ends of the court for Butler. These are the little things, AB, as you're trying to build culture, and as he sort of talked about, is graduating the mentality of the program that he inherited. It's a team that over the course of 2 seasons is kind of the players that he inherited, kind of getting away from the, hey, when things go bad, we expect them to continue to go bad, and trying to get that sort of fight and drive and not have the lulls. He was witnessing a lull here over the last couple of possessions. What is that man saying in the huddle right now?
Well, whatever Coach Park draws up will be, as you say, something that will tap into the mental toughness of Butler. Going in with strategy and getting the skill of the player, the talent, on-court productivity increase. Of course, every coach will do that. But then when you go one level deeper and tap into the mental toughness, try to draw out the ability to stay high. Don't let highs get too high nor lows get too low.
They draw up. This team has prided itself on spacing and freeing shooters, and DePaul has really cut off the three-point line. Makaleski carried the ball and got away with it. Trying to work around that screen, and a bad entry pass from Wiggins. Saw Carter with the closeout, but didn't have the angle to deliver it, and it's another Butler turnover.
That was a great look by Wiggins. Just did not connect right there on the pass. Give Jory Allen a lot of credit for fighting through that screen and getting back on assignment for Deny.
DePaul forces 18.5 turnovers per game this season. They've already forced 11 from Butler tonight. Peoples has not had to be a major factor as she gives up. Mackerlane short. Strandy to Wiggins to try and get back before the defense is there. There's an in-rhythm three, but another 2 hands up from the Butler coaching staff as to if that was necessary. Makaleski, undeterred, great draw of the defense and waited to the last second to deliver it to Wiggins.
Well, we talked about the versatility of Makaleski there on the nice push in transition to dish it down to Wiggins, and then immediately Butler putting on the pressure and getting a deflection. DePaul able to retain possession, but that's nice defense there by Butler off of this nice little 2-on-1 by the Bulldogs. We've talked a lot about the pressure of DePaul defense. Ari Wiggins being that X factor for Butler, always keeping pressure on defensively.
Wiggins, good hands, gets it right back. No numbers, she's going to take it herself, dives through, great feed. Makalewski can't deliver. Carter's going to run it down. Oh, Allen comes in to hustle it away. Almost even poked it off of Carter. That's just great, unnecessary hustle from Allen, showing her versatility and her belief in her long-standing career now at DePaul.
Well, Coach Bruno said Allen is the coach on the court, the type of player who doesn't need to be a point guard to be that leader and to help make sure the things run nice and fluid in motion.
James, beautiful left hand, just a bit too strong, and Allen there for the rebound. She's got 6 rebounds to go along with 6 points, playing nearly every minute. Mackerlane will try again and can't get the bounce.
Well, this fast tempo that we saw early in the game, Mackerlane just decides to go ahead and take the foul to slow this down on the block. And that's a smart foul considering the tempo could have gone back and forth in a low foul calling type of a game. Those are nice heads-up experience plays.
Okay, with that, another three-point miss from DePaul. Remember, they started 2 of 2 from three-point range, hit their first 2 from behind the arc. They are 1 of 14 from behind the arc since. Kent nearly had it stolen, and now she's fouled by Jade Edwards.
So you talked about that three-point shooting and how important it is right now for Butler, and they're trying to get some action for Rachel Kent. Rachel Kent being the second leading scorer on this Butler squad at almost 11 per game and the go-to three-point shooter.
Double screen action. Strandy had a shadow in Gilbert the entire way. Kent knocked away. Was she on her way up or was it on a pass? They'll talk it over. And we'll see if there's free throws. There will, yes, be free throws for Rachel Kent.
Well, we've talked about Kent's importance from the three-point line, especially with Jordan Melmans for Butler out and still sidelined. Getting to the free throw line is one of those other areas where Butler can find its way to work back in, particularly close games like this one against DePaul. Butler, when they do get to the line, shoot it well, they just don't quite attack the rim enough to get there often.
Final season of college basketball for Rachel Kent. Makes 1 of 2. She'll stay on the floor. Strandy will get a breather with, we're in a timeout window here in the next 2 seconds, so it might be a quick blow as Wingler comes in to get her and the Dogs within 3.
I like DePaul's patience here, moving the ball around. But with the shot clock running down, it might be too patient, but nice that they're able to find a Peebles wide open under the basket as Clay Clark with a nice little assist.
DePaul is shooting over 60% inside the arc as Kent bumped into by Gilbert. And they're going to call the foul on Carson Norman, setting the screen as Gilbert tried to fight through to disrupt the pass. So that will be an offensive foul on Butler. DePaul will get the ball back up by 5 as it takes us to a timeout. Boy, an important stretch there, too, for Butler. And, again, another giveaway.
Well, so much credit for Caitlin Gilbert on fighting through the ball screen. And these are the types of hustle plays that make all the difference. Fighting over the top of a screen, of course, you want to go over screens on Rachel Kent. But that far out, you have a lot of decisions to make and to go for the hustle play. this is what DePaul defense needs to continue to climb.
During the timeout, officials went to the monitor to take a look at this play and who the foul was on. They actually give the foul to Rachel Kent, fighting through with Caitlin Gilbert. Originally, we called it as Carson Norman tried to set a screen, but you saw Norman get out of the way for the handoff. But they get Kent sort of pushing through Gilbert. An unsatisfactory explanation to Austin Parkinson on the Butler bench. So for Kent, she picks up her first foul. And draws Peoples on the defensive assignment. DePaul has led by as many as 8 and could extend to their largest lead on this trip. Again, Peoples instead continues to work inside, and Butler has no defensive answer inside the arc.
Well, what a nice sound move by Peoples. Just so creative underneath the basket, an experienced player coming to DePaul from Notre Dame.
Clark poked it away from Wingler. That may have been the best thing that happened to Butler because Wingler had nowhere to go, trapped 30 feet from the basket. Look at the ball denial on the perimeter. And just as I say that, Kent finds a glimmer of space and buries a three, and it has been a long time since Butler last hit one from deep.
Well, Rachel Kent going 2 for 2 in the first quarter. Butler needed her and needs her to get back alive. And Peoples, Anaya Peoples from DePaul, drains another three.
I mean, that is just insulting there to Butler, who finally gets a three. And then after the massive drought from DePaul as well, Peoples immediately answers to reclaim that 7-point edge.
Well, Peoples now with 15 points, and Caroline Strandy leads all Butler scorers with 10, but she's been really quiet here in this third quarter.
DePaul back-to-back, no. That one bricks off from Cedar. And Norman looking for continuity. Wingler, good drive. Nice scoop up and in. That's tasty right there from the senior from Kentucky.
That was a nice move. That tasty Kentucky Fried Chicken looked like she was cooking up down there. Not that any of these players would ever eat any food such as.
I think it's safe to call it a very quiet 15 points from Anaya Peoples as Allen goes to work. She's got 8. So the top 2 scorers for the Blue Demons have now combined for 23 points. And the last 5, or I should say the last 7, for DePaul.
And DePaul scoring with relative ease in that they're creating and manipulating to get the shots that they want.
Well, Wingler had another layup. She gave it up. Strandy can't hit. Jane's in position for the offensive rebound. Never bring that ball down. She did, and had it swatted away for Butler's 13th turnover. Kent got thrown by Allen. Cedar was left open. And better late than never now for the DePaul shots as another 3 goes down. And for the first time tonight, DePaul leads by double figures.
Well, Cedar with her second 3-point make of the game. And Caroline Strandy, we got the basketball savvy on tonight with the reverse layups.
Kent's going to get called for the foul, and she has a quick word to understand what's going on. It'll be her second as she tried to deny Peoples on the drive. Just the second on Butler in the quarter, so not a bonus situation in the final 70 seconds here for DePaul as Kent exits confused, as is her head coach.
It's tough when the fouls are called very loose in the first half, and then players are having to adjust now to what perceives to be some sort of evening out maybe in the second half perhaps.
Good to see O'Harry back on the floor. She now has a sleeve on that left elbow after leaving with injury. Peoples drives, tough shot, but she is feeling it right now. 17 for Anaya Peoples.
And all of Peoples' shots are in rhythm.
Nothing but net on the other side. Wingler trades 2 for 3 as Butler tries to claw back in.
Butler needed that three. The three-point shooting is their ace, is their go-to. Butler being the top three-point shooting team in the Big East, amongst the top.
Another drive, another layup, another easy finish at the 10 for DePaul. Pressure provides. Strang, he looked up, saw the clock, gonna have to heave from half court. That's got no chance. And DePaul adds to its lead. Impressive stuff on the road from the Blue Demons. In the midst of a 3-game losing streak in which they've given up 89 per, they've put the clamps on Butler from behind the arc and are 10 minutes away from their 3rd win in this Big East schedule. 10 minutes to go, final quarter coming up next here on the Big East Digital Network with DePaul leading by 9 through 3.
Butler has always stood for excellence in education. But standing for something doesn't mean standing still. It means moving forward with innovative ideas that are transforming how we teach. It means experiential learning and fields that create in-demand graduates. It means cultivating not only minds, but communities. At Butler, we're changing what it means to be a university, one student at a time.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country. It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
1, 2, 3,
From signing day
we'll put this right here.
to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
For the 21st time this season, Anaya Peoples is in double figures. She leads all scorers in this contest with 17 points, 8 of 11 shooting, including 1 made 3. And Amber Stocks, she has been really good here in the second half. You said there was a very quiet first half, kind of didn't know she was on the court. Not in a bad sense. The rest of her team was doing a lot of work. Her presence was felt in that third quarter.
The ability of Anaya Peoples to go on these nice scoring runs. Impressive that she has 17 in tonight's game, but that's her season average of 17. Very impressive. 2 games ago, she went for 37 points against DePaul's matchup at St. John's.
Again, she was the 4th leading scorer on this team last year. Anisha Morrow heads to LSU. She was averaging 26 a game. Darian Rogers was averaging nearly 17 a game. She departs. And Peoples having to take over a role as lead scorer has certainly been an adjustment. She's left open here and continues to blister this Butler defense.
Anaya Peoples coming just big and strong, showing that leadership, being determined, just willing DePaul to get these points on the board as she comes off of the flare screen on the left wing and drains yet another three. Her third three-pointer of the game.
Butler needs a lot of points and a lot of points quickly because you know DePaul's going to find a way to score. Wiggins, great dump down low, and Carter gets Butler back within 10.
We've seen Ari Wiggins do this all game. Drive to the basket, draw a defender, and find an open teammate, this time an open Carter.
Peoples. Kent has to put the blanket on her here. Well, that ball thrown away, and Allen fortunate she turned around at the right moment to get it back. Gilbert. Too strong on the step up and a reset. Peoples, good hands from Wingler to poke it away. Wiggins up ahead, lost the ball.
That's an unfortunate loss of an empty possession by Butler. The nice steal by Wingler and the quick up the court by Wiggins. But that's just something that Butler has struggled with all night. 13 turnovers on the game.
Ball kicked around. Peoples back to Clark. And too strong.
So now with a 10-point spread here, time down to the clutch for Butler. Not to let this get too far ahead. Look for Butler to continue to re-establish some pressure onto DePaul defensively.
Well, Wingler's been a spark, hasn't she, in this second half, and she's going to earn her way to the free throw line for a couple. Probably the only Butler Bulldog you could say consistently here in the second half that has matched the intensity that DePaul is throwing defensively at Butler.
That's right. Well, Caroline Strandy, Rachel Kent have come alive the whole game right here in this fourth quarter push by DePaul. It has been Wingler. Wingler with 7 points.
Now let that ball go out of bounds. Wiggins recognized that Cedar wasn't leaving and steps on the baseline trying to save it. That's just no one committed to the rebound for Butler, and they give the possession right back to DePaul.
These are the types of mistakes that go back into that mental toughness that Coach Parkinson is reframing for the Butler squad. Mental toughness isn't always about fighting against runs, but also having the discipline to do the things right each possession.
Wonderful hesitation. Got Carter stuck in her tracks and draws the foul. So Peoples with 20 points tonight as he takes another look at the foul coming through the lane. She's 2 of 3 AB from three-point range. She was 1 of her last 26 from three-point range coming into tonight, and she's hit 2 of 3 from behind the arc. Everything has worked for DePaul's leading scorer, and it works for Gilbert as well. Just a 27% three-point shooter. DePaul is outscoring Butler from behind the three-point line tonight, and I don't think anybody in the building expected that to happen.
No, not at all. Butler being such a dynamic three-point shooting team, but the DePaul defense being sharp. When the open threes are there for Butler, they're not connecting. We talked earlier, in Butler's only win, they did shoot 54% from the three-point line, so they need that tonight.
Well, DePaul getting closer and closer to what would feel like mini little knockout blows. Plenty of body blows delivered with the three-point shooting here in this fourth quarter. Peoples gives it up. McElrain, that one was touched by Wiggins. Someone needs to get to it. No help. They're going to say it's Butler ball. Ashley Good out top says, I didn't see it. There's had to have been touched by Wiggins. I mean, you don't miss a shot that badly, and you see the misdirection of the spin. That is a bonus break for Butler because there was no doubt Wiggins got a hand on that basketball.
Well, you got to imagine it all evens out, because earlier in the game we saw DePaul get away with that potential out of bounds. But now 11-point differential.
Almost an unforced turnover. Ball handling from Strandy. Wiggins looking for anything. Can't find it. Jane steals off. It's been the best offense of the night, and two Bulldogs collide, and they're going to call a foul. I believe they're going to get Allen. Well, I'm not sure how much contact Jory Allen had down low. It was a violent collision on the court, but I think this was Bulldog on Bulldog crime here.
Well, James and Strandy both going for the rebound, and so I guess the official sees the push by Allen into James. The push before the contact.
That's two very fortunate calls for Butler that they need to take advantage of at this juncture of the game. They got it to Wingler, but she couldn't get it up. And a 15th Butler turnover. Gilbert on the run out. Finds Clark. And another offensive rebound. A third reset. Third, I should say, chance on this possession. Second offensive rebound of this trip.
Cedar has been in the hustle all game long.
Wiggins forces the giveaway. Here comes Wingler. She's working on a season high in Big East play. James didn't want to probe. Wiggins left open. Took the bait, couldn't connect.
Well, Wiggins hit her first three that she took in the game, the first three for Butler, and not particularly the go-to, one of the key three-point shooters on this dynamic three-point shooting Butler squad. And right now, Butler needs their threes to come alive. This substitution may help ignite the Butler offense from the three-point line.
Peoples, you have to respect the three-point shot the way that she's shown it tonight. And here comes Norman. Butler overloaded on that left side. Rachel Kent, a little glimmer of hope there, but maybe too far out of her range. DePaul up ahead, Peoples. Oh, beautiful athleticism, spin and finish. She's got 22. And in a highlight reel worth of plays here in the second half.
Peoples is making the game easy. She's taking her time, letting things come to her, and enjoying the energy of her teammates. Anaya Peoples, 22 points on tonight's game. Three-point line, transition, step backs, post moves, getting it all done for Butler. Getting it all done for DePaul as Butler's trying to come back in.
Zero debate who the player of the game is going to be, especially if this score holds. Anaya Peoples, who had hit just one three-pointer in all of Big East play this season through 9 games, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. That beautiful spin and drive. She's demanded the basketball. When it hasn't been there, she's given it up. When they've needed a bucket, she has been there. And DePaul, which has opened up its largest lead of the night now at 13 points. You look at the second half line for Peoples, absolutely unconscious for the senior.
And of those 16 points, 11 of them came at a clutch moment, which is that third quarter when DePaul really opened up the gap. And DePaul can score these high-scoring games. You know, over the course of Coach Bruno's history, he's known for scoring and going on these big runs. He says he's used to playing in the hundreds. And so Anea Peebles, she's the type of player that Coach Bruno likes to coach with that offensive go. And in today's game, she's allowing her entire game to complement this high-scoring output.
DePaul has given up 88.7 points per game in their 3-game losing streak, and Butler is going to labor to get to 60 tonight at this pace. So it has certainly been a fruitful trip to this point in time in Indianapolis for the Blue Demons. They will gladly trade buckets the rest of the way. Peoples hesitates. Boy, really the first real mistake, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but blemish that she's had here in the second half.
And we saw Peoples connect on that same move a few possessions ago.
3 from Carson Norman. 5 straight points for Butler out of the timeout. And Doug Bruno says, nope, we need to figure out a way and a quick fix right now defensively, because really for the first time all night, not fighting over the top of the screens, you leave the freshman wide open. 6-3 for Butler tonight, and they have quickly trimmed the lead back to 8.
Well, Norman was subbed into the game right at that gap where Coach Parkinson knew the three-point shooting had to come alive for Butler to work their way back. So now coming out of the timeout, you got to imagine that Butler will continue to keep the pressure on and mix things up defensively, and especially against Peoples. They're going to need to send a double team and dig if Peoples gets the ball inside.
And on cue, here's Butler with the pressure out of the timeout. They have forced 10 DePaul. Now Cedar. They'll flash Peoples to the top with plenty of time to shoot in this possession. Kent's had the defensive assignment. Peoples can't get around her. Allen left slightly open. Good box out from Strandy.
Outstanding defense by Butler. Everyone stayed on cue.
But Gilbert, such a tough defensive matchup. Strandy can't get away. Wild drive by the freshman Makalewski, but a reset for the Dogs.
So this is where time becomes a factor, and that Butler does not need to rush. They have time to do just that. Attack the basket, get to the rim, and try to pick up some fouls. So should free throws become a factor late in the game, you want to make sure you're in the double bonus.
Third foul on DePaul in the quarter. Butler has just one, so they actually have fouls to play with, fouls to give, so they can be more aggressive defensively. That is the third on Gilbert, who's the best defensive player for DePaul. And she shows it right there, got a hand in, and fortunately for Butler, knocked it right to Norman. Norman bumped by Cedar, and now the next foul on DePaul would put Butler at the free throw line.
With the way that Butler shoots threes, this game could turn a swing real quick here, Will. We talked about 54% is what Butler shot against Xavier, so they can't get hot fast.
Just 6 of 18 tonight, 33%. Again, they shoot 42% in Big East play this year. Kent. Met there by a double. Norman now. Boy, working away to her left. That was hard. Strandy had it poked away. It'll stay here. Well, you sort of feel like this game is hinging on this possession. We've been on this end of the floor for a long time. DePaul's drawn a couple of fouls. And Butler needs a bucket that could get to a two-possession game.
It would do a lot for the momentum, the energy, the confidence of Butler. So nice possession. Go inside to James. James, the experienced player with the nice turnaround.
8 straight Butler points as DePaul will call another timeout as Doug Bruno wants to set up the perfect offense on the other end to try and answer this run as Butler's clawed their way within a couple of possessions here late in this fourth quarter. And an important huddle right there for head coach Doug Bruno as AB, we reflect on what this fourth quarter has become. Butler really just kind of throwing everything they can right now at the Blue Demons because they need to at this point in time. How does DePaul weather this storm to get a much-needed win here the last 2.5 minutes?
So DePaul continued to attack the basket and play comfortable team basketball. Of course, follow the charge of Anaya Peoples and ride her engine. I like how Gilbert is keeping the pressure on defensively for DePaul. And of course, Cedor's hustle. She's all over the court being disruptive. Nice team effort for DePaul to sustain this win.
Under 2 to play in a 2-possession game for now. DePaul milks the clock. McErlane trying to find room, scoops it up under Kent and somehow scores.
Well, quietly but boldly, McErlane now with 10 points for DePaul.
A massive bucket. Butler looked like they were on their way to a defensive hold, and McErlane pulls a rabbit out of the hat. Kent tries to answer the other way, left it short. A massive 30-second gap there in this game of 2 different layups with 2 different results. And DePaul now trying to milk some clock. And now Butler has to be probably over-aggressive because you're going to have to start the foul game a little bit sooner with only 1 whistle here in the 4th quarter.
Well, Butler on its heels, allowing DePaul to just set up and get the look they want.
Peoples flips it up, and another prayer answered for DePaul. They can feel it with a minute to go, up 10.
Peoples just sized up Norman and took that drive straight to the rim.
2 absolute flings and prayers from DePaul around the basket. Both of them go down, and as quickly as Butler had gotten within 6, it's back out to double digits. I don't know how either of these shots went in.
Well, DePaul attacking against the mismatch. Norman on Peoples, she can't check her. DePaul, nice attack. Butler, multiple players need to dig and disrupt Peoples and get her out of her rhythm.
24 points tonight for Anaya Peoples, and outside of that 37-point explosion against St. John's 2 times back, it'll be her highest scoring output in the Big East so far this season. 21 at Georgetown back on New Year's Eve was the best one prior to that St. John's, but the efficiency tonight, Amber, is so impressive. Those 37 points against St. John's last week came on 31 shots that she got to the free throw line. Tonight, 24 points on 16 shots, including those 2 threes. A MVP performance tonight from the 5th-year player in Anaya Peoples.
And you complement that performance with 5 rebounds.
Foul on Allen trying to box out Janes. It'll be a 1-and-1 situation for the Butler junior.
James for Butler. She's had some big baskets inside, but overall, over the course of the night, Butler perhaps needed to get her more looks inside, not just for high percentage shots, but also to force the DePaul defense to collapse, which it did not.
Butler outscored in the paint tonight by 10, 34-24, and they're being outscored by a bucket behind the 3-point arc. Obviously, you're not going to be able to survive in both of those categories, go the other way, but you could survive a little bit tonight being outscored in the paint, but not when the 3-point shot was not falling for Butler, as their home woes, surprising to this staff, will continue as they look to fall to 1-9 in Big East play. Butler trying to foul, and again, they've got 3 fouls to give before that whistle. So still 2 more fouls until DePaul will even be shooting free throws.
There's so much that goes into late game strategy, not only the offensive strategy, the defensive strategy, but foul management as a team in addition to player foul management. So there's a lot for Butler to continue to go back to the lab and learn from as they continue to climb in the Big East.
Top of the Big East is going to hold serve, it would appear, tonight. UConn won, going away at Villanova after a 1-point game at the half. Paige Beckers with 21, leading a 21-point victory for UConn. Creighton up 6 late against Marquette. St. John's up 6 late against Xavier. UConn, Creighton, St. John's, the top 3 in the Big East standings, entering tonight's play. And a very, very busy night here across the Big East in women's basketball. As Jory Allen will go to the line after Butler has finally gotten DePaul into the bonus, and what has been a loud contingent of Allen faithful tonight, part of a very long line of DePaul basketball players and athletes, but a former Indiana Miss Basketball. Played her high school ball down the road in Bedford, year at Indiana before transferring to DePaul. It felt like she would eventually always make it there. And now timeout called by Butler as they'll advance the ball down by 10 with the final 34.5. As again, the night has belonged to Anaya Peoples. Boy, she showed the full mixtape worth of offensive moves in Hinkle tonight.
Anaya Peoples, 3-point shooting, 2 for 3. A couple of nice, jazzy reverse layups down below, and then all of the simple stuff, the textbooks, the spin moves, high on the glass. I like the way Peoples plays. When you look at the transfers that DePaul has and the leadership of those transfers, Coach Bruno talked about them being a team that is experienced on the court as far as age goes, but young as far as playing together.
Yeah.
Going into Big East tournament play, the experience, the leadership, especially the way you see Allen and Peoples leading on the court, even coming out of the timeout. DePaul can be a sleeper. There are team people already don't like to play because they're tough. Watch for them in the Big East tournament.
Again, they entered tonight with a net ranking of 106th. You know, they could play their way easily into the top 100 of those rankings. So, don't let the 2-7 record in the Big East kind of fool you. It's been quality performance for this season, but you're right. This is not a team you want to see as a 6, 7, 8, or 9 seed if you're a top seed coming up in the Big East tournament. Strandy got stuck in no man's land. Good play by Carson Norman to get a bucket. But time not on the side of Butler, as they're going to have to foul again. Allen will walk back to the free throw line for DePaul as the Blue Demons on their way to getting within a game of 500 on the season and a third win in Big East play for the 6-time regular season Big East champions, 5-time Big East tourney champions. And you think about what COVID did kind of to this program too, Amber. This team had just won the Big East tournament championship in DePaul back in 2020. They were on top of this conference and then really just haven't had the same program rhythm coming out of that as Doug Bruno continues to look for it. I think he's going to be very excited and satisfied at the completion of tonight to have a little something to build off of, because especially defensively, this was a stellar effort tonight from the Blue Demons.
DePaul's defense was the catalyst for their dynamic offense. Starting with the steals, we talked about how DePaul's ranked nationally in steals, and they showed up again tonight, forcing Butler into 16 team turnovers. And then offensively, DePaul moving the basketball around with 13 assists and 4 players in double figures. Butler with 2 players in double figures, led by Caroline Strandy with 10, and Caroline Strandy with 12, and Rachel Kent with 10, followed by Wingler with 9, and Wiggins with 7.
One of the most potent offenses, at least behind the arc in the Big East. Not so much tonight. Anaya Peoples has the MVP performance. You mentioned her 24 points, as DePaul wins it by 10 on the road to get to 3-7 in the Big East standings. Butler regrouping. It had been a really good stretch of basketball for the Bulldogs. They'll have an extra day of prep coming up this week as they get ready coming up for Creighton here inside Hinkle Fieldhouse coming up this weekend. Impressive performance, especially in the second half for DePaul in this one tonight. Again, they win it by a final of 67-57. For Amber Stocks and our entire crew, as you take a look at our final stats from inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, 47% shooting from DePaul, and they outscore Butler not just in the paint but also behind the three-point arc. And Amber, that is a massive accomplishment for DePaul to come in here tonight. And for a team in Butler that averages over 8 threes made per game, the Bulldogs settle for just 6 of 19 from behind the arc.
Butler, we talked about 4 players in double figures. Mackerlane with 10, Cedar with 10, and Allen with 12. The three-point shooting for DePaul, you mentioned that being on fire. Peebles 2 threes, and Cedar, she was a nice spark for the Blue Demons, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, and McElwain with 2 threes as well. Gilbert's defense was dynamic for DePaul. She finishes the game with 5 points.
They forced those 16 Butler turnovers on the night as well. 4 players in double figures, as you mentioned, for DePaul. Very balanced, and if there was any question about that program trying to grow together, you saw what I thought was a very cohesive effort tonight from DePaul, and certainly something that they can carry into their next couple of games. They head to Georgetown this weekend and then head home for a game against Providence. Big matchups coming up with Marquette at home, UConn at home still to come for DePaul, so you never know, some big wins maybe looming. That'll do it for us here tonight from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Again, DePaul wins at 67-57 for Amber Stocks and our entire crew. I'm Will Haskett saying so long. Butler moves to 1-9, DePaul 3-7 now on the Big East season.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country. It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
1, 2, 3.
From signing day,
We'll put this right here.
to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
to know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
Butler has always stood for excellence in education. But standing for something doesn't mean standing still. It means moving forward with innovative ideas that are transforming how we teach. It means experiential learning and fields that create in-demand graduates. It means cultivating not only minds, but communities. At Butler, we're changing what it means to be a university, one student at a time.